Why hello there beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. Switching things up, we've been doing vlogs for a very long time, for the past 10 episodes, but every now and then let's go back to our roots with a nice beauty tutorial, long form, because why not? Apologies in advance for the lighting. I'm filming in front of a window at like the middle of the day, so the sun is right here and it might ebb and flow, the lighting might differ and change, but hopefully you still get the point and we still get to see everything that this tutorial has to offer. See, case in point. The girlies have been loving Painted by Esther's signature makeup look, and I figure we take the time to recreate it together. Now when I say recreate, I really mean create an inspired look, because Painted by Esther is the only one who can do what she does, unless she tells everyone exactly what she does, but she hasn't, and so we're just gonna go off of what we have, which is the fact that her looks are characterized by like a pretty excessive, I don't want to say excessive because that's a value judgment, but a nice amount of like pink blush on the face that leads into that under eye area. So that's what we're gonna be doing today, and I'm gonna show you how. Also want to give honor where honor is due and say that a lot of my routine for this inspired look was inspired by Mcgrath, who is a lovely UK-based creator. Love her, and her video on this was very helpful, so you should also check out her own tutorial as well. I already did my skincare, but I like to just re-moisturize with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Face Base Moisturizer. It also is a primer, but I will use actual priming products, but this is just a nice layer of hydration on my skin, especially because we're probably gonna go pretty matte for the next few steps. It also comes in an eye cream. I don't have it, but if I did have it, this would be a great time to use it as well, but instead I will just bring up some of that moisturizer and apply it very lightly under my eye. Now that we're all moisturized and hydrated, we can move into primers. There are two primers that I'm going to use, and of course both of them are from Danessa Myricks. The Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder in the shade Universal, and the Danessa Myricks Water Powder Serum. The Blurring Balm Powder is exactly what it sounds like, so it is a balm to powder consistency. I would say it's on the more matte side, and so for that reason I apply it to the places where I tend to get the oiliest. I have oily combination skin, and my most congested oily areas is the area around my nose and underneath my eyes, so the cheeks area underneath my eyes. Water powder serum, but I usually take like a dime sized amount, usually like about 10 drops, and I will apply that to the places that didn't get primer on the first go. I find that my forehead doesn't really need that much primer. Like, it's not oily, it's not dry, it just is. The sun has moved again. And now for one of my favorite steps, color correcting. If you are not familiar, color correcting essentially is like using color theory to essentially get the appearance of even skin. So different colors do different things, but orange/peach has the effect of canceling out the look of dark spots or dark circles on dark skin. I'm using the Kevyn Sensual Skin Enhancing Concealer in the shade SX14. This is my go-to concealer shade, and you're gonna see in real time why it is the perfect color correcting shade. So I apply that to my dark circles and any dark spots. Usually for me, that would be post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. If you are someone who has like, you know, the 5 o'clock shadow or like the hyperpigmentation around your mouth, that type of thing, this is the type of thing that you can apply there as well, with the caveat or with the disclaimer that this is a very thick full coverage product. So I actually didn't really use that much. This is probably the full amount of product that I would use for my whole entire face. And then I'm gonna take this Real Techniques domed shadow brush. So technically it's an eye brush, but I think it is really good at blending out color corrector. So essentially we're just spot concealing. That's what we're doing. And all of this is prep, and all of this I would say are steps that are contingent on your skin type and appearance. So if you find that you don't need to prime, then don't prime. If you find that you don't need to color correct, then don't color correct. But this is what my skin looks like at the end of color correcting, and you just saw me blend that out in real time. It took probably like no more than a minute. And judging off of how my skin looks now, that's how you know that this is the perfect shade of color corrector for my skin. And now that the skin is all prepped, primed, and color corrected, we can officially start our base. For this look, I am going to underpaint. Underpainting is a technique whereby you apply a lot of your base products underneath your foundation. It provides a more seamless blend. It provides the look of a more subtle, blended contour, and that's kind of the look that we're going for. We don't want any harsh lines. We want everything to flow seamlessly. I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand in the shade Tan Deep Medium. Placement. My cheekbone, I want it to be like right along my cheekbone. So this is where, like, where you feel the hollow of your cheek, you want the contour to be, personally for me, right on it. So I don't want to apply my contour or my cream bronzer in the hollow. I want it to be applied like right above it. So right on like that edge or border of where my bone is. And I'm just gonna apply 3 dots right there and do the same on the other side. This is a really deep shade. However, note, and you're gonna see in just a moment, it blends out so sheer. Look. That was so easy to blend, and if I keep blending, it's like it could disappear. So I'm gonna stop right there for now, because remember, this is going underneath foundation. In terms of direction for blending, you know the vibes, and if you don't, blend whatever is on your head towards your hairline. So blend it up and away from your face. Blend whatever is along your cheekbone up, and blend whatever is along your jawline down. But right here we have a nice, beautiful, like bronzy vibe, which is why I say that this definitely gives more bronzer than contour. Just my thoughts. For foundation, I'm using the Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation. I've really been liking this foundation. I think it genuinely is blurring, and I also think the shade that I use, which is Hot Fudge, ends up being a pretty good match for like tying my face, neck, and body together. If you find that the foundation is a little too strong, because again, you may not be using the exact same products as me, that's fine. If you find that your foundation is so full coverage that it covers up your underpainting that you did with your contour or bronzer, feel free to go just back in with a little bit more, which is what I'm doing, because I'm like, oh, where did we go? Where did we go? And now we can move on to the fun part, which is the blush. The 2 blushes that are gonna be the star of this show are the Mcgrath Desert Date Cream Multi-Stick Blush in the shade Pink Cell, and the Danessa Myricks Surprise Surprise Blurring Balm Powder Flushed in the shade It Girl. The Mcgrath Cream Stick Blush in the shade Pink Cell. If you don't have this, because we know, as we know, Mcgrath is closing down. I'm not sure if this shade or this product is sold out. And if it is sold out, you can't get your hands on it. I would say, number 1, this is just a pro tip in general for life. Whenever you're watching a video or tutorials and you want to recreate someone else's makeup look and you don't have what they have, look up the product and look at what the website describes the product as. So if it's described as like a hot pink fuchsia or like a terracotta, whatever the shade is described as, look up other products that are also described as that. Like, you don't need the exact product to recreate a look, you just need the same color scheme. So for this color, I would say that it is like kind of like a hot pink. I'll swatch it on the back of my hand. It's definitely like a hot pink shade. That's all. So get a cream blush that is a hot pink shade. I am taking this Danessa Myricks My Kit Co collab brush. The number is My 5. It's essentially an angled blush brush. It's an angled brush. That's it. And the reason why I like to use an angled brush is because I'm going in on the high points of my cheekbones, which kind of like have this angle to them, and so I feel like the blush goes on a lot better. Do not go on directly on your face. Apply a little bit onto the brush. Dab off excess on the back of your hands. This also helps make sure that it's even. And then go in on the high points of the cheekbone. And I'm gonna warn you now, the blush is gonna start to look like a lot, which is fine because we haven't applied concealer yet. So again, we're kind of going back to this underpainting technique where I'm applying blush, but then I'm also gonna apply concealer, and that concealer is gonna sort of blend with the blush. And again, pro tip, if you feel like you've applied too much, you can always go in with a clean, damp beauty sponge just to pick up a little excess. But honestly, you shouldn't be doing that until you've gone in with your concealer, because that concealer is gonna water some of this down. Promise. Then I'm going to take It Girl, the Danessa Myricks blush in the shade It Girl. And I'm gonna take this Sephora Collection tongue twister. I'm gonna take this Sephora Collection blush brush number 99. Zab it in there and then apply it on the like apples of my cheek, kind of going into my under eye area. I would describe this shade as like more of like a poppy pink. And this is what it looks like on my skin tone. Yeah, it looks like a lot. Don't worry. Also fine to kind of start to overlap. Moving along to concealer. So I'm only going to use this MAC concealer in the shade NW50, which tends to be a pretty like, it's a brighter concealer than my skin tone for sure, but it's not too bright. And I'm not gonna do, normally I would apply the placement, like I would put it under my eye, like on the outskirts of my eye. I'm not gonna do that because I want the blush to still kind of shine through. And I'm just gonna apply on my usual places on my face and let that dry down a little bit. Let it dry down. And now that I've dried down a bit, I'm gonna just blend it out with a damp beauty sponge. We're really just blending in place. Nothing too crazy. And as you can see, we've lost some of that blush over here, so we are gonna go back. I'm adding a little bit of brightness, not too much, just a little bit of brightness with this Huda Beauty Easy Blur, Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in the shade 7.1N Crumble. So it's a neutral undertone concealer that I'm using to brighten. Don't wanna do golden. Don't wanna do golden because the pinks that we're using are pretty cool tone. So the undertone of the concealers matter. And I would say even if you do tend to run golden, try using cool or neutral tone concealers so that it blends better with your under eye, or with your blush rather. And while that dries down, I'm just gonna go back in with that blush brush. I'm starting off with no new products just to see how much payoff that gives me. And if I need to add more, I will. Going back in with the Beauty Blender to blend that brighter concealer in place. The key to all of this is a lot of back and forth. So it's like, okay, you apply your blush and you apply your concealer, blend, blend. You apply concealer, you apply some blush, blend, blend. You apply some blush, you apply some concealer, blend, blend. And it's back and forth blending until you're satisfied, until you are ready to stop. So I'm definitely gonna add a little bit more blush after this, because now that I've got all of my concealer layers on, I wanna make sure that the blush is what is most prominent. So just a little bit more blush now, and then these two are gonna get married together in one final Beauty Blender sweep. Next, I am taking the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder in the shade Ube Birthday Cake. I thought this was a purple setting powder, but it ends up actually coming off pretty like pinkish. We're dabbing off excess and going in with a light layer first. And of course, now we can go in with all of our powder products. So I am taking the One Size setting powder in the dark shade just to set the rest of my foundation. To set the other areas that I applied concealer, I'm using the same Huda Beauty setting powder, but this time in the shade Peach Pie. That's kind of aggressive, but we will dust off the excess. And then I'm gonna bronze with this Makeup by Mario bronzer, primarily because normally my normal go-to bronzer is the NARS Laguna bronzer, but that runs pretty red, I would say, and I want more of a neutral to cool tone bronzer. Dusting off the excess setting powder, going in with just a little bit more of that purple setting powder. Not gonna lie to you, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is not the most blended. So here is me just trying to take some extra time to blend everything together. My go-to method, I just took a clean brush and I'm just like, I wanna lightly go over everything. Why are we not blended? This is new, so when I first did this look, I didn't use this, but I've been loving the Danessa Myricks. It's called the Liquid Blurring Balm. And just when you thought we were done with blush, we're not. I'm going in now with powders, and I'm taking first Love Struck, which is a pink. I would describe this as like a poppy pink, a hot-ish pink blush, and I'm applying that over where I applied Pink Cell. Yeah, this is what they would call blush blindness, but we don't care because that's the look that we're going for. And then for the second blush, the first time I did this with like a lighter shade NARS blush, but I have this House Labs blush that I'm actually really excited to see what it looks like. So I'm just gonna lightly tap that under eye as well. And then again, back and forth is the vibe. For eyes, I'm keeping it very, very simple. Makeup by Mario has these cream liquid eyeshadows, and this is the shade Chestnut. I'm gonna apply that all over my lid, and this is the shade Espresso, and I'll apply that in the outer corner. While my lash glue dries, let's do our lips. If you know me, you know the vibes, but I'll break it down for you. I'm gonna do my usual nude lip combo. So first I'm going in with the One Size lip liner and coin collector. I'm gonna then take a little bit of this Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Nude Kate. It looks crazy right now, but don't worry. Buxom Cosmetics Lip Plumping Cream Gloss in the shade White Russian. But wait till we add the Amicole Lip Treatment Oil in the shade Excellence. Yeah. 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 Bottom lash, bottom mascara. That is our Painted by Esther inspired blush look complete. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got an opportunity to learn a little something. Do it together with me, run it back with all your products too. If you liked this video, you should show that by a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I think I'm gonna be back in this lash is bothering me. Would you please? So distracting, so rude. But yeah, that concludes this video. We've done this Painted by Esther inspired blush look together. As you can tell, it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. She definitely makes it look, no, she doesn't make it look easy, because we got, like, she doesn't make it look easy, but I'm sure it's easier for her than it is for the average person, and it takes a lot of technique. But basically just blending back and forth, a lot of back and forth blending and a lot of cool tone pinks to get you a look like this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, be sure to thumbs up this video, comment, let me know if you want to see more makeup tutorials, and if so, what you specifically want to know, learn, do, and we'll do it together. This is so much fun. I'm so glad to be back in the makeup production seat on YouTube, and I can't wait to check in with you guys for the next video. In the meantime, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.